Hello, it's 10 o'clock and welcome to the weather update. And it was a pretty hot day today across the area. Looking at the satellite, you can see as we got toward the afternoon, the clouds kind of just cleared out of here. Looking for any smoke plumes. Looks like there's one over here, so it looks like maybe somewhere in Pennsylvania there's a wildfire. But the fire conditions are very. I'm really surprised. They even dropped the red flag warning. I don't understand what they're seeing here. You can see it says 87 forecast for New York, so it's going to be even hotter tomorrow, and there really just wasn't much of a sea breeze at all to speak of today. So let's go take a look at our current conditions in our area. The red flag warning still shows up in here, interestingly enough. I don't know why we're not under a red flag warning. It's so warm out there at night, especially in Nassau County. You can see Farmingdale's got 71 still. But if you're in Suffolk County, you're getting a little bit of a break. You're getting into the upper 50s. I guess maybe there's been a little bit of a sea breeze or some radiational cooling. But here in Nassau County, we're firmly in the heat island, dealing with temperatures that are still 65 degrees in Neola. And it's probably even warmer than that in the alley, probably still in the 70s. And you can see these dry conditions as well. Dew points are pretty low. So, again, this is air from the southwest. Looking at New Jersey. It's very warm there, too. It's still 73 at Lakehurst right now. West-southwest wind at 7. Winds aren't too, and they are reporting smoke. So apparently there is still smoke from that wildfire going on over there. There's been a number of smaller wildfires that broke out in New Jersey. I haven't heard about any on Long Island, which is quite surprising. You can see, yeah, they're getting some radiational cooling, 55 at West Hampton. Man, that's definitely a lot nicer than what we're dealing with. So let's take a look at what the highs were today. And first, before we do that, I'll just show you what the day was like. I managed to spend a little time outside today. Just a little bit of time outside. Just transferring from the train to the bus. Just looking at some of these interesting clouds in the sky. And then there was no sea breeze, even in Babylon. Nothing. I went from Deer Park to Babylon, and there was no breeze. It was hot everywhere. So let's take a look at what the day was like at Islip first. And you'll see here it's waiting for it to load here. So it dropped off a little bit. I wonder if it looked like they did get a little bit of a sea breeze out there at Islip. We have nothing here in Nassau County. Nothing at all. So even on the South Shore, there's nothing. So for whatever reason, Suffolk County, the place to be, they were able to get a sea breeze and overcome the heat block that were from New Jersey. But for the rest of the day, 80s. In Islip, you can see that 80s all day long, and some pretty gusty west-northwest winds too as well. But tonight, apparently, they were able to get a sea breeze in Suffolk County. I'm so jealous of you guys because we're dying here. 55 at West Hampton, so let's take a look at what the day was like at West Hampton as well. See if they made it to the 80s. No records were broken today, from what I know of. So let's see. Yep, they had a sea breeze too. Looks like they had a sea breeze much of the day, except earlier on in the day. But it looks like they got a sea breeze around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So yeah, South Shore of Suffolk County, further out east, got a sea breeze. But for the rest of us, we were just dying. And it was hot as hell, for sure. And, if you just look at what you're dealing with in... let's go to Farmingdale here. That's not Farmingdale. Let's go to Farmingdale Airport. You can see it's still 71 there. So no breeze at Farmingdale. And you can see what we were dealing with all day long. 80s, well into the mid-80s. We overperformed today. So, yeah, it's incredible that it got this warm. Just incredible. And it's going to be even warmer tomorrow, if you can imagine. So let's go look at the highs and the lows for the day. First, the highs. And you can see mid-80s, low to mid-80s, pretty much everywhere, all across Long Island. Even out east they got there, but then the sea breeze knocked it down. You can see mid-80s in New Jersey. So no real difference between New Jersey and western parts of Long Island and the city. It's hot. You have to go to eastern Suffolk, and if you go to the Forks, you had upper 70s there. And it looks like Block Island only got to 68. Yeah, that's the place to be. I bet if you were on the Cape, it was nice and cool as well. Oh, yeah, only 60s out there. Oh, man, much better than this. This is just brutal. Let's go to the lows, and you'll see here lows 52. So we had lows in the lows were where the normal high should be. All right, that's how far off we were in the city. They were above the normal high. So quite incredible. So we look at our climate statistics for the day. conductive fire growth, and they're talking about wildfire in Milford Township now in New Jersey. This is the recap of their highs: 84, 83, 84 JFK, Newark, of course, New Jersey being the hottest. What else is new? Let's go and look at the local weather here. Observed weather, daily climate report, and why is this not? There we go. So first go to Islip. No records again. Got up to 83, but the normal high is 57. So 26 degrees above normal. Low is 59. That's 19 degrees above normal. And so that gave us an average of 71, which is 23 degrees above normal for the day. This could be one of the warmest Aprils on record. Central Park got up to 84. So they were about 22 degrees above normal. And Newark, of course, being the hot spot, they were a whopping 26 degrees above normal for the high, 87. I think Jersey's going to go for 90 tomorrow, right? Maybe even parts of Long Island, too. It's just incredible, the heat. This is historic heat. It's really incredible. And you look at it all across the country. If we go and we put up the Ventus Sky site here, you'll see we're not the only ones suffering. I'm just going to roll this back to 3 o'clock. We're not the only ones suffering because you go across the whole eastern two-thirds of the country. You have this warmth up into Michigan, Chicago, even the Dakotas. Look at this heat coming up here. We have 90 east of the Front Range here. You have temperatures approaching 90 all the way up into almost the Dakotas. That's a lot of heat right there. So it's the whole. You got this just huge ridge that's just all across the whole eastern part of the country. Basically everything east of the Rockies is suffering, and the Southwest as well. So just a lot of heat going on across the country. We pull this out, and I should probably leave the highs up here, actually. We'll keep it up like this, I guess. You pull it out across the whole country, and you'll see you got a lot of red flag warnings, too. So, again, look at these conditions you have in places like this area here, 81 degrees, 2.4. This is at this hour and night, which is insane to see this kind of heat. This is all very disturbing. You got some wind gusts up to 36. Here's another one, Dodge City. Wind gust up to 36. Look at how low these dew points are. This is very hot, dry air that's just surging up into all up through the Great Plains. If you do go further north into the Dakotas, North Dakota, yeah, that's where I was. Where it's 39 degrees right now. And you have some storminess, of course, with a little bit of troughiness there. Of course, more snow in Montana, winter weather advisories there. So looking at our weather map here, close that out. Weather and hazards viewer there, close that out, wherever it is. Looking at the weather map here, you'll see this big high that's stretching. Got some lows up here again in Montana. In the northwest, that's where you have that's all your storminess. The rest of everybody's fairly dry. Kind of it almost looks like they're showing a backdoor cold front over New England here. So I'm wondering, we got a backdoor front over here. So now I may have to reopen that closed tab that I just closed, the weather and hazards, and look at the New England again. See, there is some relief over there. So let's get those observations back up here. And, yeah, we're having a problem with the page again. Doesn't want to go. Let's try it again. Because I did not know that there was a backdoor front parked over there. So let's see what it was like in Boston today. Boston is avoiding this heat. It would be interesting if it was. 55. So, yeah, they are avoiding this heat. And let's see what kind of day they had. Probably not yet. Well, they got into the 70s, but not as hot as we were. That's for sure. If you were in the Cape again, Provincetown, 51 degrees in Provincetown. And they only got up into the only in the 50s today. They got to some 60s, but clear skies, nice day. And it's actually a very nice area in Provincetown. If you've been over there, why not? Just take a look for a minute, because that's the only place you're really going to be able to, if you want to go for a hike without dying in the heat, it's the only place you could possibly go to. And you'll see, again, this is a beautiful area, which, yes, is very, very piney here. And it's very much like the dune lands that I hiked in. And hopefully these pines here are not being affected by the beetles, hopefully. So again, this is Provincetown on the Cape. But anyway, getting back to the weather here, looking at the Storm Prediction Center, not a whole lot of severe weather going on. Looks like a little bit, just marginal in the Panhandle area. A convective outlook for tomorrow. Not really that impressive. Day 3. All right, we start seeing a little more activity as we get toward day 3. It's mainly the fire risk that we're concerned about. And fire weather outlook here. Oddly enough, again, not a whole lot. This is the day 2, and they don't even have us. And I don't understand why. Whatever reason they feel that, I guess maybe because we had a couple of months ago, we had a lot of wet weather. They feel that it's not that dry out there, but I don't know. I think we're going to see a lot of wildfire spread for sure. So let's look at the models now, and I'll start with the surface first. You can see there's just this big ridge. You can see there's that low that's bringing wet weather to Florida and the Gulf states there. But that high stays in control, keeps us hot and dry, and we don't start seeing that wet weather getting here until Saturday, and then another front will pass through sometime on Monday. Now, this front is moving a little slower, and then we have cooler weather behind that front for next week. And you see that the pattern gets a little more unsettled as we get a little more into a more typical April pattern, unlike what we're dealing with right now. But I still think we're going to be way above normal for this month. So now I'll go to the upper air, and we'll just show you again this huge ridge here that you got here. So look at this huge ridge. Let's back this up here to today. And you see there's that big ridge there, and just a huge ridge. Jet streams going way up into Canada there. And you see there's a little trough that'll try to come through next week. That'll bring a little bit of a cool down for next week, at least, but it probably will be short-lived because it looks like a ridge tries to build back. But it does look like we have a little more troughing in the long range. So I'm hoping we will not see this kind of heat again until like July or June, when we should be seeing it. So looking at the upper air here, you'll see here, there's that huge ridge. We got the huge ridge, of course, the trough in the west. There's that little trough that comes through Tuesday. It'll bring some colder air. And then we do seem to have more troughiness in the east as we get toward later in the month. So I'm hoping we will not be seeing this kind of heat again, because it's pretty ridiculous. This is unheard of in April to see. So looking at your temperature anomaly chart again, bright pinks over the east. The only areas that are below normal, north and west, of course. What else is new? You see we stay above normal until we get toward next Tuesday, and then we'll get some below normal temperatures. And then after that, it seems like we don't have any crazy anomalies. After that, we will have a cool down, fortunately, because this, like I said, this is absolutely ridiculous for this kind of warmth in April. It's just crazy. So let's go take a closer look now. We'll go to the HRRR model and look at their dew points and wind flow. And you'll see, again, light winds. We'll have some radiational cooling tonight. If the winds get light enough, we'll have clear skies. So, some of the areas in the Pine Barrens could even get into the 40s. Otherwise, other areas might get into the 50s. Here in the hot hellhole of Mineola, we'll be lucky to make it below 70 tonight. And then tomorrow, you see, again, the west winds continue, showing a little more of a sea breeze in the afternoon. Perhaps we'll see a little more of a sea breeze than we saw today, which was very, very limited. And I want to actually look at that. Being that reminds me of looking at the sea breeze again. I want to go to Wonder Map here. So we're going to go there. And we'll pull up some observations just to show you what it was like. So, and where you were, anywhere where you were, let's pick pick Salisbury. All right, so to show you how hot it was today. And again, you'll see. So it's still 69 at this hour there. And let's see what we got here. Page not found. So it looks like we may have. It says Brutus is in the server room. So whatever the case is, we're having trouble pulling up observations. Patchogue, let's see. We'll try it again. The Wonder Map may not be working tonight. 57 degrees there right now. So it's cooler in Patchogue. And they got up to 83. They still got up to in the 80s, but then they had that sea breeze drop things, which we never got. We never got that at all here. But again, you really got to be right on the water, and you can see where the cooler temperatures are, like Blue Point, Bellport, Let's go to Bellport Yacht Club here, where it's 56 degrees. That's where you got to go if you want to have the cooler air, right on the South Shore. And further out east, you got to be away from the influence of the hotbox in New Jersey. And you'll see it got up to 78 there. But look at what happened. When the sea breeze came through around 3 o'clock, it dropped like over 10 degrees down to. That's really impressive. So if you're on the water, right on the water in Suffolk County, especially further east, you had that nice sea breeze. But if you're further west, you didn't get much of anything. I mean, even Babylon, could look at West Islip, for instance, and I don't think they cooled off much at all today, even though they were right on the water. I'll take a look at this here. All right, so they did actually. Looks like they did get a sea breeze, but then it reversed, and then the west wind came back again. So you could see that was like on the borderline of where the sea breeze was being effective. Then you go further west, and you're just, I mean, literally, it's still 69 in Wantagh, right on the water. So you're not really getting much relief at all. 68, 69, 84 degrees. So this is pretty much what it was like in Nassau County. No sea breeze at all whatsoever. Maybe there was a little one trying to get going there, but more or less no sea breeze at all. Mid-80s, just dying. It was hot as hell. It really was hot as hell here. And yeah, we'll look at another. We'll look at the observation site from Mineola here, and we'll see now because hopefully maybe this one will work and it won't give us the error. So let's see, 85. So yeah, even hotter here. So again, no breeze at all whatsoever. If you were on the North Shore, if you were right on the water on the North Shore, you might have even gotten a breeze. But let's see. You have to go to a low-lying area on the North Shore. So like Bayville. Let's see if Bayville was able to get it some kind of breeze at least off the sound maybe. Let's see if they were able to get anything. 84? Nope, nothing really. So it wasn't that effective in Nassau County. Sometimes you see a little bit of a Long Island sound breeze develop sometimes, but I don't see it tonight. Probably because of the westerly flow. You have to be further out east to get that influence, and I don't see that. You have to go way out east to get that influence. So, like Peconic, for instance. All right, Peconic, you probably had better conditions out there. So it's a 58 there, and let's see, they got up to 79. Still pretty warm though. So that's a look of what we were dealing with today. So let's get back to the models here and look at the actual air temperatures. Obviously, again, you have that westerly flow going into Friday, and that it looks like the westerly flow is with us on Friday too. So it's not until Saturday until we start seeing that southerly flow develop. So with that westerly component, it's going to be hot. Tonight, like I said, it's not going to cool off much unless you're not in an urbanized area. And look at how hot it gets tomorrow. This is going to be close to 90 degrees, upper 80s. And News 12, we're going to call them out. Let me call them out as well because their weather forecast is way off. So if we go to weather here, you'll see they have it 83 tomorrow. 83. It's going to be way warm. They have it 84. Right? They upped it to 84. I still don't think that's enough. They're always forecasting for the South Shore. They're always too cool, and it's ridiculous. And so this is the map that she had. Obviously, this was earlier. So they don't even have. She's South Shore, so she's forecasting for Long Beach, basically. So it's going to be hot tomorrow. All right. Temperatures getting well up into the mid to upper 80s, perhaps close to 90, especially if you're in New Jersey. It looks like it is trying to develop a sea breeze, at least over Suffolk County tomorrow. So at least Suffolk County might see something, more of a sea breeze tomorrow, as far as maybe points from east of Massapequa. That should knock the temperatures back into the 70s, perhaps even 60s. If you're right on the water, maybe you'll see some relief in the afternoon as well. And then as we go tomorrow night, won't cool off much, and then it's going to be another hot one on Friday as well, with the temperatures just as hot as they were on Thursday, with that westerly flow up mid to upper 80s, close to 90 degrees. I think we'll see 88 at Islip tomorrow. I'm going to say it's going to hit 88 tomorrow at Islip. That's my prediction. And then you'll see here there's like a backdoor front that tries to come in as we get toward Friday night into Saturday, and that knocks the temperatures down and brings in more of an onshore flow, and finally brings relief and ends this ridiculous heat wave that we're having. It's absolutely insane to see this kind of heat. All right, let's go to the GFS now, which doesn't look as ominous as the HRRR, but you see how we overperformed today. I'm leaning toward the HRRR. All right, that westerly flow, the sunshine, it's going to blaze, all right? So let's go to look at the dew points and wind flows. We head into Saturday. You'll notice the south wind developing. That will bring in more clouds, some moisture, as well as the chance for some showers. You see that southeast flow, east-southeast flow continuing to Sunday. And then we have this front coming through on Monday that will bring in the return of drier air by Tuesday into Wednesday. And you'll see drier air, but it will also be cooler air as well. So let's go look at the actual temperatures here as we go into your Saturday. And you'll see much cooler, still above normal. It'll still be in the probably low 70s, but it'll feel a lot better than it did on this heat wave. It's just, it'll feel a lot better than it did the previous day. This heat's getting to me, all right? And you see, look what happened Sunday, that we really start getting backdoored with temperatures maybe only in the upper 50s to around 60, but notice how much warmer it is in New Jersey, all right? And then Monday we have this front coming through, and then cools down Monday night to Tuesday. And Tuesday we have highs that'll be actually a little bit below normal, probably mid-50s, and then we see mid-50s again on Wednesday. So it will be cooler. We will have a cool down, at least for a couple of days. But now let's go look at the skies because, again, there aren't a whole lot of clouds around. This is tomorrow. There's going to be no clouds. It should be mostly sunny. It might actually be a nice-looking sky. We'll have to see. Usually when it gets this hot, it's hazy, but you never know. Today the sky was not that hazy at all. You'll see more clouds popping up on Friday. However, this may be overdone. And then the weekend we have the clouds and the showers around with that unsettled weather, and then it should get out of here by Tuesday into Wednesday, and we should see some more sunshine again. Looking at the rainfall, and there really ain't going to be a whole lot this weekend either. It will bring some rain, but it won't really bring that much. If we look at the total accumulated precip here, you'll see that's not a whole lot of rain. So we remain in a drought, and that could still mean the fire danger continues. Not seeing a whole lot of rain here. A quarter of an inch if you're lucky, the GFS says. So now let's go back to the skies, and I'll go to the RGEM, which is the other sky model I'll use. So this is the RGEM, and you can see barely a cloud in the sky. Friday, we'll see some more of that cirrus, I think, around. You can see some of that cirrus coming in there. And then we'll have thicker cirrus for Saturday, obviously, with the clouds. Well, thicker cloud, overcast day fairly. And then we'll go look at the NAM here. So, NAM. We have enough of the 0Z NAM in because we're running a little late here. 12-kilometer NAM. It's not really showing anything. That's as far as I've got. So we're staying high and dry and dealing with all this heat. The last thing that I'll look at, a couple of other things that we'll look at here. EarthNullSchool.net here, just showing you sea surface temperature anomalies. I've showed you this map before here. I'm sure they're up there, of course. No surprise. Air quality as well. So we're going to look at air quality. Actually, I got to go to chem. And we'll look at the carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide, yeah. You see elevated carbon monoxide in our area as well from the heat. So that the air quality, it probably won't be that great. So, everybody thinks this weather is great. You try walking around in it, all right? It's not great, all right? It's not great at all. We can go ahead into tomorrow. It looks like it gets even worse. Yeah, and then actually it looks like it gets a little better. Yeah, it's still there. Because you have all these vehicles driving around. That's what it is. All right. Last thing, well, not the last thing, the next to last thing, we'll go and look at the ice situation. If I can find it, I don't know where it went. Oh, here it is. And Arctic sea ice news. So from polar dawn to dusk, sunlight is returned. So sea ice extent still below normal, sixth lowest March in the satellite record. So looking at your chart here, you can see again, look at how below we are here. Not good at all. And this is going to start melting. And will this be the year we may have a blue ocean event? Hopefully not, but we get closer each time, and given all the heat going around the planet right now, the whole world is warmer than it should be. It's very much a concern. So, Event 2 sky is the last thing we will look at here as we go into tomorrow, just to visualize, again, the heat that we're going to have. So, let's move this over to the 13th, and you can see we're already getting above 80 degrees by 10 o'clock. By 1 o'clock, we're well into the mid 80s here. And again, if you're right at the beach, you might get something. You might get some kind of breeze. If you're right at the water, you have to be within a mile of the water. It's trying to have a sea breeze here, but it's not going to make it much past the water. And you can see 88, 87. This is right around where Islip is, 2 o'clock. It's going to be very, very hot. And you can see, it's gonna. Some areas could get close to 90. It's showing a 90 right here. Mineola could hit 90, as well as, Toms River perhaps also hitting 90 as well. We'll have to see how hot it gets there. Who knows? It might even be hotter here than Toms River. Wouldn't surprise me. As we get toward 3 o'clock, you can see just blazing inland, upper 80s. If you're right at the shore, you might have some more sea breeze. South Shore, that's the place to be if you don't like the heat. This is the place to be. Fire Island also might only be in the 50s. But blazing inland, absolutely blazing inland. So you got to be right at the shore. Just 4 o'clock. You can see the sea breeze starting to develop and cool off the South Shore, maybe move in a few more miles. But if you're in the middle of the island, you're still suffering in the 80s, even at 4 o'clock. We move this to 6 o'clock. Middle of the island, you're still dealing with mid-80s in Mineola, even at 6 o'clock, blazing. The South Shore will be down to probably 70s at that time. And then as we get toward later on, you'll see temperatures will be in the 60s across Suffolk County, Nassau County, still hanging out into the 70s unless you're on the South Shore by 8 o'clock. Let's move this to Friday because it's going to be a repeat performance. Friday, it's showing more of a sea breeze, but look at this. It's getting the middle of the island up to 90 degrees because it's still going to heat up, and you still have to wait for that. The ground is so dry, by the time that cool air moves in off the water, it's going to heat up pretty quick by the time it gets inland. So you'll see that. That's 10 o'clock, but by 3 o'clock, this heat is peaking. You can see temperatures near 90 degrees in the middle of the island. South Shore, again, the place to be. That's where there will be a breeze. See that right there. 40s. Long Beach a little bit, but the best breezes will be probably further out east, probably. Here it's even showing 40s, perhaps, if you're on the beach there in Shirley. But inland, you're dying in the 80s pretty much. Very, very hot indeed. You can see that. 40s, just brutal. Brutal inland ball. Look at that, a 40-degree difference, perhaps, between certain areas on Long Island. This is going to be insane. Heat inland, but again, if you're on the shore, better. Jersey, not a chance. You're going to be baking, probably near 90 degrees as well. As we get towards 6 o'clock, let's go back to Long Island here. You'll see the breeze starts to make its way into the middle of the island, knocking temperatures down to the 70s. So it looks like Friday, especially by Friday evening, there'll definitely be more of a sea breeze. Here the temperatures are knocked down into the 60s here. So much better as we get toward Friday evening. But I tell you, we are going to be shattering some records tomorrow. I think the record high for Islip's 83. We'll easily break that. And I think 90 is a good possibility somewhere on Long Island, especially where I live. Could be 2 days in a row of it. Especially Friday, it looks like it's going to be just blazing hot. I'm just curious to see what this does with the clouds. Let me move this back to Thursday. So there's obviously no clouds for Thursday. Friday, it shows some clouds, though. But they're probably of the high variety, I have a feeling. So they're not really going to... Friday, it's going to be a junky sky, probably. It's probably going to be of the high variety. Low... No low clouds. Middle clouds. No middle clouds. It's all high. So, yeah, Friday, it's going to be Friday's probably going to be the worst day, actually, I think. You're going to have the crappy-looking sky and extremely hot. You got to be right at the beach for the relief. That's it. That's the only place you're going to get it, especially the best off. Further east, I wish there would be bus service to Jones Beach. They should have some bus service there, but they don't. You have to take a $20 taxi ride. I don't think so. So that is going to wrap up this weather update. Thank you for watching. Have a good night and try to stay cool.